For decades, one country defined global manufacturing and shaped the entire world economy forever. Every phone, laptop, and t-shirt had one label stamped on it, made in China. But now, something genuinely big is happening worldwide that could change everything permanently. The world is quietly and strategically moving factories elsewhere to reduce China's complete dominance. After years of devastating trade wars, pandemic lockdowns, and rising labor costs everywhere globally, global companies are finally saying they need Plan B and alternative production sources urgently. That strategic plan is unfolding right here in Asia, but not where expected. While everyone's been focused on India and Vietnam, one country stepped into spotlight. The Philippines is quietly stepping up as a major player in manufacturing today. In 2025, exports from Philippines are growing faster than any time in history. Semiconductors, smartphones, furniture, garments are leaving Philippine ports at record speed every month. Multinational companies like Texas Instruments and Epson are expanding operations in Manila, Clark, Cebu. But here's the biggest twist that nobody expected to see happen in manufacturing. This boom isn't just about cheap labor or low-cost production anymore worldwide. It's about smart strategy and long-term planning for sustainable global supply chains everywhere. Philippines offers exactly what corporations desperately need in today's competitive geopolitical business environment: political stability, English-speaking talent, growing middle class, and direct access to major markets. Western nations are tired of overdependence on China and building completely new supply chains. Philippines has quietly become the biggest winner in this major global manufacturing shift today. Let's break down the numbers, strategy, and global shift turning Philippines into superpower. Why the world is shifting away from China. For over 30 years, China was completely unbeatable in global manufacturing dominance forever. It offered cheap labor, huge industrial parks, and fast exports to every economy. But gradually and systematically, things began to change and shift significantly over time. Wages in China skyrocketed extremely high very fast, making production much more costly. The US-China trade war added tariffs that made production significantly more expensive always. Production became much more costly and significantly less competitive worldwide compared to alternatives. Then came COVID-19, which was a shocking blow to global supply chains everywhere. That exposed the world's biggest supply chain risk and major vulnerability to disruption. Global factories shut down overnight without any warning during lockdowns, causing major problems. Companies couldn't get critical parts anywhere, affecting production schedules and operations very dramatically. Shipping costs went completely through the roof, affecting profitability and business operations severely. Western nations realized they had become way too dependent on China's factories always. Over-reliance on China created systemic vulnerability that threatened business continuity and survival globally. If one country locks down, the entire system collapses and causes major disruption. That's when the China Plus One strategy took off and became very popular worldwide. The strategy involves moving part of production to other countries, reducing dependence. Instead of one global factory model, world built regional manufacturing hubs everywhere. Vietnam took electronics production and expanded rapidly, while India grew in smartphones. Indonesia expanded in batteries and technology, while Philippines quietly won semiconductor orders. Furniture, garments, and agriculture sectors boomed, creating new opportunities for growth everywhere. The shift isn't about completely abandoning China or ending all operations forever. It's about balance and risk management, ensuring business continuity and resilience always. Companies want safer, cheaper supply chains that are closer to consumers everywhere. Philippines checks all three boxes perfectly with excellent strategic positioning today. By 2025, that strategy has turned into reality, pushing Philippine exports very high. The Philippine export boom. In numbers. Let's talk numbers because the scale of this boom is absolutely massive. In 2024, Philippine exports were already rising by nearly 10% yearly always. Year-over-year growth was consistently very strong, with momentum building throughout entire year. But in 2025, the growth accelerated even more with 15% increases. Exports are crossing $90 billion in total export value, breaking all records. That's the highest in the country's modern history ever achieved before now. The biggest driver is electronics and semiconductors driving the entire export boom. Philippines now produces approximately 10% of world's semiconductors used globally. These semiconductors are used in gadgets, vehicles, computers, and devices worldwide today. Companies like Texas Instruments are expanding operations and investing very heavily there. Analog Devices and Nexperia are also expanding major facilities in Philippines now. They cite stable power supply and access to skilled labor as reasons. Next comes agriculture and processed food goods, which are also growing fast. Philippine bananas, coconuts, and pineapples are reaching new international markets very rapidly. China's agricultural demand has shifted to ASEAN suppliers, including Philippines now. Furniture and textile sectors are experiencing mini revival in business activity. Exports to US and Europe are climbing significantly year after year. Buyers are diversifying away from China's factories, seeking alternative sources everywhere. Business process outsourcing is overlapping with manufacturing, creating hybrid opportunities. Together, these industries are rewriting the entire export identity of Philippines. Why global companies are choosing Philippines? Why the Philippines and not Vietnam or Indonesia or other countries? It comes down to three specific big factors that matter most. Talent, trust, and strong business ties are the key decision factors. First, talent and skilled workforce availability is critical for companies everywhere. Philippines has highly educated English-speaking professionals available for employment always. Engineers, IT professionals, and factory workers are trained to global standards. They understand Western business practices and Asian production standards equally well. Second, trust and political stability in government are very important. Philippines maintains strong diplomatic relations with US, Japan, South Korea, EU. That stability makes it a low-risk choice for foreign investors. For foreign investors escaping rising political tension in China today. Third, ties and cultural connections to Western markets are strong. Philippines is deeply connected to Western markets through many decades. Migration, culture, and business connections create familiarity for investors. American investors find it easy to set up and operate. Communication is seamless and adaptation to local systems is simple. Geography also plays a major strategic role in decision-making. Philippines sits in the middle of Asia-Pacific trade corridor. Ports in Subic, Cebu, and Davao provide excellent access. Close proximity to Japan, Taiwan, and Australia helps logistics. Perfect geographic triangle for diversified and efficient global trade. Add government incentives like tax breaks for exporters there. Special industrial zone perks and infrastructure upgrades attract investment. The formula becomes clear and compelling for businesses. Next, safe, scalable alternative to China for production. Top export sectors leading the boom. Let's break down which industries are actually driving the numbers forward. 1. Electronics and semiconductors is the absolute powerhouse of exports. Over 60% of all Philippine exports come from this sector. Global firms are expanding chip production rapidly to meet demand. 2. Agriculture and processed food goods are growing significantly. Coconut oil, pineapples, and bananas have been traditional mainstays. Companies are adding value with food processing and packaging. 3. Furniture and design sectors are gaining international fame. Sustainable bamboo and rattan designs are very popular worldwide. Popular among eco-conscious Western brands seeking ethical alternatives. 4. Textiles and apparel sourcing is increasing significantly. US and Japanese brands are buying from Philippines. Quality, ethical labor practices, and tariff advantages available. 5. Business services and logistics is booming rapidly. Export is more than just physical goods anymore. BPO services are classified as service exports officially. Manila's IT and logistics hubs support supply chains. Government support and policy push behind every boom is a comprehensive policy framework. Philippine government is actively courting manufacturers from abroad. Department of Trade and Industry provides incentives. Board of Investments offering tax holidays and support. Tax holidays, streamlined permits, and special zones available. Special export processing zones offer minimal bureaucracy setup. Make It Happen campaign is actively recruiting companies, targeting electronics, automotive, aerospace, and advanced sectors. Infrastructure upgrades under Build Better More program. Airports, ports, and highways are linking regions. Subic, Clark, Manila corridor is growing the fastest. Philippines is strengthening trade agreements actively. Lower tariffs and simplified logistics for companies. Strategic planning and implementation are quite strong. Foreign investment surge. Follow the money to understand where the future is heading right now. In 2024 alone, Philippines received $12 billion in investment capital. Foreign direct investment increased 25% yearly compared to previous year. US, Japan, South Korea are major investors in Philippines today. Major projects include semiconductor manufacturing facilities throughout the country now. Clark is hosting new high-tech plants and facilities for companies. Batangas solar panel manufacturing is growing and expanding capacity. Logistics centers near Davao are expanding capacity very rapidly. American Chamber of Commerce is officially endorsing Philippines as investment destination. For 2025 and beyond, investment continues flowing in steadily. Why investors prioritize stability matters greatly for strategic decisions. Supply chain reliability is a crucial factor in investment decisions. English proficiency in workforce is an essential requirement for companies. Philippines has all three major advantages combined together. Foreign capital flowing faster than ever before today. This investment surge represents a watershed moment for country. Companies committing billions for long-term operations here. Texas Instruments expanding Clark facility significantly in scale, investing $800 million in major expansion project, creating thousands of high-skilled quality jobs for locals. Analog Devices opening new design center there. Nexperia building new semiconductor plant facility. Intel considering Philippines expansion very seriously now. Samsung evaluating manufacturing possibilities there carefully. Japanese companies like Sony investing heavily there. Panasonic expanding operations significantly and rapidly. South Korean Chaebol investing heavily in Philippines. LG expanding appliance production there now. European companies also joining the wave. Siemens opening innovation center in Manila. Renewable energy companies investing heavily there. Solar panel manufacturers setting up facilities. New industrial parks opening everywhere rapidly. Special economic zones expanding capacity significantly. Subic Bay port modernizing fast and modern. This investment creates a virtuous cycle of growth. More investment attracts talented workers and professionals. Talent attracts more companies to Philippines. Companies create more high-quality jobs there. By 2026, potentially $18 billion investment. Confidence in Philippines growing significantly. Americans moving in, human side. Export boom is not just goods and investment here. Also about people moving and relocating there. Thousands of American professionals moving to Philippines. Entrepreneurs and freelancers relocating there. Lower cost of living attracts people. Booming tech scene attracting top talent. Manila, Cebu, Siargao filling with Americans. Americans setting up startups and operating. Drawn by cultural familiarity and ease. English widely spoken and understood. Lifestyle affordable yet vibrant always. Retirees also part of this wave. Special resident retirees visa program available. Coastal cities seeing foreign residents. Dumaguete and Iloilo rising fast. This human dimension crucial to understanding. Americans aren't just investing capital there. Tech entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley, now based in Manila offices, running operations across Southeast Asia. Digital nomads choosing Philippines over Thailand or Vietnam. Better internet than home in city. Safety standards higher than neighbors. Healthcare quality excellent and affordable. Real estate affordable and improving. Food very affordable and quality. Entertainment diverse and vibrant. Cultural experiences abundant and unique. Communities forming organically everywhere. American expat groups exist actively. Co-working spaces filling with workers. Digital nomads communities growing. Growing in Cebu City. Expanding in Dumaguete. Developing throughout Luzon. Americans bringing expertise and skills. Manufacturing operations management. Logistics improvements and efficiency. Supply chain management systems. Marketing strategies and approaches. American business culture mixing. Creating hybrid economy dynamic. More dynamic, creative, competitive. These Americans committed long-term. Building families and community. Starting businesses and ventures. Investing properties permanently. Part of community structure. Contributing to economy. Working and paying taxes. Mentoring local workers. Training teams actively. sharing knowledge constantly, building bridges between cultures, creating unprecedented synergies, challenges and growing pains. No boom comes without significant challenges ahead always. Philippines faces infrastructure bottlenecks sometimes. Occasional power supply issues arise. Bureaucratic delays slowing processes occasionally. Competing countries like Vietnam are faster. Malaysia offers more industrial zoning. Pressure ensuring fair labor practices always. Philippines must invest more in education, renewable energy, and automation needed. But these are fixable problems. Infrastructure remains biggest challenge ahead. Roads connecting regions need major work. Port facilities need modernization upgrades. Cargo handling capacity is quite limited. Customs processing can be very slow. Documentation requirements quite complex. Digital systems need major upgrading. Power supply inconsistent at times. Blackouts rare, but possible in summer. Rolling blackouts during peak demand. Renewable energy growing slowly. Solar capacity expanding gradually. Wind farms developing. Grid needs major investment. Power generation capacity must increase. Undergrounding cables needed. Bureaucracy slows business expansion. Permit processes lengthy and complex. Multiple agencies involved in approval. Processing times are quite slow. Labor regulations strict and enforced. Minimum wage rising steadily. Safety requirements high always. Environmental rules being enforced. Labor costs increasing. Competing with Vietnam costs. But quality better here. Education improving fast. Technical schools expanding. STEM programs growing. Engineering talent increasing. Sustainability concerns arising. Manufacturing pollution issues. Water usage high always. Waste disposal problems. Carbon emissions need reduction. Climate risks rising. Rising sea levels. Typhoon impact serious. Flooding concerns arise. Infrastructure vulnerable always. Investment needed badly. Green practices required. Environmental standards enforce. Corporate responsibility emphasized. Compliance improving steadily. Next Asian export giant. By 2030, analysts expect doubling exports completely. Export output increasing significantly and rapidly. Top 5 Asian exporters very soon. New free trade zones developing everywhere. Semiconductor parks being constructed actively. Agri-tech clusters being established. Country investing in AI development. Supply chains restructuring permanently forever. Long-term opportunities for growth. Deeper and more diverse industries. World moving toward China de-risking. Philippines emerging as stable alternative. By 2035, made Philippines globally recognized. Economic transformation happening right now. Philippine exports could reach 150 billion annually by 2030 target, growing from current 90 billion, nearly doubling in 5 years. Unprecedented growth trajectory established. New industries emerging constantly there. Aerospace components manufacturing, medical device assembly operations, pharmaceutical manufacturing operations, automotive parts supply chain, electric vehicle components, battery technology production. These new sectors will employ millions, create skilled jobs for workers, generate higher wages for people, attract top talent and professionals, retain workers in Philippines, build growing middle class, urban development expanding, new cities emerging rapidly, industrial zones developing, tech parks being built, innovation hubs creating, education centers expanding, smart infrastructure, digital connectivity, 5G networks deploying, fiber optic expanding, ensuring coverage everywhere. In rural areas, closing digital divide, education transformation, STEM programs expanding, vocational training growing, quality certifications and standards, manufacturing excellence achieving, export reputation building, brand recognition growing, made Philippines quality guaranteed, global trust building, market access expanding, trade agreements growing, regional partnerships forming, economic growth accelerating, GDP expansion happening, rising living standards, poverty reduction efforts, entrepreneurship flourishing, tech adoption accelerating, digital transformation happening, automation deployment scaling, AI integration spreading, Industry 4.0 adoption, smart factories emerging, connected operations, real-time data analytics, efficiency gains achieving, cost reduction happening, quality improvement ongoing, competitiveness increasing, market leadership emerging, regional dominance establishing, global presence expanding, Philippines future bright. The new Asian factory. Global map of manufacturing is being redrawn today. Philippines right in center of change. From electronics to agriculture and goods. Export surge rewriting entire economic story. China built last generation of factories. Philippines building the next generation now. More than export boom happening. National transformation occurring right now. This is the new face of Asia. Can Philippines truly replace China completely? As world's factory now, which sector will lead next? Drop thoughts in comments below. Like, share, subscribe today. More deep dive stories on Asia. Future of global trade. Philippines center of it all.